What's up, nerds? It's Senior Nerd John here to discuss Masters of the Universe Revelation, which has dropped 5 episodes on Netflix, and I wanted to give you all some thoughts and feelings. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel below, and if you're not following our social media, make sure you go to our Facebook and Instagram pages and follow along. Before we start, please be aware that spoilers will be following. All right, let's jump in. Episode 1, things I really like right from the start. We've got the old script in the logo. It made me feel comfortable. Then we see Teela being made Man-at-Arms, which is kind of cool. Skeletor, as always, is trying to attack Grayskull. This time, though, he gains entry into Grayskull with a plan to tear down the castle. We don't know why yet. He's got some talk about the Pearl, but tearing it down is a new goal for him. Some other things I really dig in this episode.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Cringer. I love the personality that they're giving Cringer before he turns into Battle Cat. He is very 80s comfortable for me, and I like that there's a different personality between Battle Cat and Cringer. That Cringer personality is really important. Another thing that they kill in this is the Prince Adam transformation is awesome. I love how we see Prince Adam totally bulk out and just like, it almost reminds you of Hulk going from Bruce Banner just jacked up into Hulk. Prince Adam transformation in this new series is amazing, much better than it used to be. Now, He-Man does get the Grayskull to try and stop Skeletor, but in the battles we get to see, Skeletor kills off Moss Man, which pisses off He-Man. The sword, we find out after the battle, when He-Man stabs Skeletor, it goes in and becomes the key to the Hall of Wisdom, which is opened up and now gives Skeletor access to destroy the power that is in Grayskull. This is really important for this series. When that happens, we get both Adam, He-Man, and Skeletor getting wiped out. First episode, boom, He-Man, Skeletor no longer exist. What the F, guys? From that, though, Teela finally learns Adam's secret and discovers that everyone else knew, and she is pissed and quits. Very important to this 5-episode arc. Now, when we jump back in episode 2, Teela, having quit, now has a totally different look, looks like a badass, and now is a mercenary out there with a new partner, an engineer called Andra. They get hired for a job after successfully taking out Stinkor at Snake Mountain, where Teela now gets to take on several of our classic villains. We saw Stinkor, we get to see Whiplash, Lockjaw is there, and Triclops is now running Snake Mountain, trying to move it from a magic place to a tech place. This is a central theme that we'll see running in this arc, the death of magic. After that successful run, they're hired to go to Grayskull by an old woman who it's pretty clear is Evil-Lyn. And we find out when we get to Grayskull that the Evil-Lyn has been hired by the sorceress to bring back the last remnant of magic in Eternia. Teela, never trusting Evil-Lyn, goes to take her out. We see Cringer. We find out from the sorceress what happened with He-Man and Skeletor when they got blasted out. The Power Sword was actually created by 2 parts, Eternia, heaven, and Saturnia, hell, and they went back to where they were originally found. Sorceress sends Teela, and then Evil-Lyn goes along to get those sword pieces to bring them back together, to bring power and magic back to Eternia. So episode 3, we jump in and we start off with a memory of a battle with Merman led by Skeletor taking out He-Man and Teela. Man-at-Arms in all his glory, Duncan Man-at-Arms, the traditional Man-at-Arms, comes, rescues them. Then we see that the crew, that's going on this quest is not around right now, but they end up meeting up with an old man who's defending citizens against Triclops. Beastman out of nowhere arrives to protect Evil-Lyn. Old man is Duncan, man-at-arms, our old hero. He takes us back to his place. We find Orko, our little magic friend, is on his deathbed because magic's gone. But Orko finds out the plan and volunteers to join them one last trip to Saturnia to help out Teela because that was the best times of his life. On the trip, Teela sends Duncan off to protect the sorceress. Without knowing any backstory there, Duncan tries to give her a little heads up. He goes off his way, the group goes off their way, and we find them on a boat trying to get to Saturnia. Now, here's a fun little fact. Evil-Lyn removes her headpiece and somehow gets hotter. Evil-Lyn has been a crush of mine for many, many years, guys. She takes off that headpiece and she just looks hot. I don't know what happened, but thank you for that, Kevin Smith. Merman then reappears to stop them, takes out their boat, tries to kill Evil-Lyn. Out of nowhere, Duncan, our hero, shows up on a jet ski. Hello, Morbius, this is what you needed. And saves the crew, helps them get to Saturnia's entrance by them taking down Merman, having him lead them and power them through to get to Saturnia's entrance. Once there, we get a heartfelt moment of Duncan and Teela showing some love. He would never leave her side. That's what we find out. So, we get to the entrance to Saturnia. Merman threatens Evil-Lyn and says, "The sea never forgets, and neither do I." I think that's going to be something we're going to have to watch out for in the future. Merman felt that Evil-Lyn screwed him over after Skeletor's death. He's now really upset, wants to take her out. We're gonna have to look for that in future episodes. But they get to Saturnia. Episode 4, we get to Saturnia, and in Saturnia we find out illusions take over their mind. What happens is Teela is sent off on her own illusions. Evil-Lyn and Orko, our two magic partners, are sent off together. Beastman, Roboto, and
Today, Junior?
Andra they're off on their own. They're all facing their own fears. Teela, we've discovered, is going to have to face her greatest fear, and that great fear is an evil zombie He-Man who preys on her anger and fear that He-Man Adam didn't share his secret. We get a little bit of a battle scene there. It's kind of cool, but the bigger fear then transformed He-Man into Teela in her old garb, in her old look, and now we've got new Teela fighting old Teela, fighting themselves to try and get past the fact that she feared that no one trusted her. That is what we get, is her real fear. Kind of cool, I gotta say. We thought it was just anger at He-Man / Adam. It really is deeper than that. She felt like she wasn't good enough and couldn't be trusted. A lot of deep stuff right there. Flip over, we see our magic part of the crew, Orko and Evil-Lyn. They are finding that all magic is gone and they're being hunted by shadows. So in kind of a weird twist, Evil-Lyn and Orko become friends, partners almost, as the two magic beings show some level of respect. Evil-Lyn really builds up Orko's confidence in his magical skills and powers. Kind of a nice moment for Orko, not just being the comedy relief. Flip over, we see our other three. Beastman's battling fire bat. The other two are taking on zombies. Somehow, all of our team find a way to take on their fears. Most importantly, Teela, because she is the leader of the pack, finds a way to battle back her fear, obtains the half of the sword that we need, opens the door to Eternia. Unfortunately, Orko, with all of his newfound power and faith, ends up having to sacrifice himself to save our other heroes. It's a little sad. Everybody was, it was kind of reminiscent. I hope it doesn't be handled this way, but it was like Gandalf in Fellowship of the Ring, sacrificing himself against a bigger challenge.
Shall not pass!
So that the others could survive. I hope we don't see him come back and really just pull on the Lord of the Rings theory. But anyway, we get to Eternia and we find Adam is in heaven and they all help bury Orko. Teela is still mad at Adam, holds a massive grudge because he wouldn't trust her. But they work together and track down King Grayskull to see if they can find a path home. We learn that in Eternia, it's only the champions who really do a sacrifice, and many came before He-Man, that get to Eternia, and they get to choose their form, and Adam was the only champion to choose his lesser self. I think that speaks a lot to what's going on in the story. He didn't feel like He-Man truly, he always felt like Adam. We learn that Roboto has the power to reforge the two halves of this power sword together, but he has to sacrifice himself and it will destroy him. And as he dies, he learns that he has feelings. Just kind of cool. He realizes that Man-at-Arms, who created him, really made him beyond just a robot. He has emotion. Grayskull opens the portal back to Eternia. Adam decides he's going with them, fully realizing he may not get to be in Eternia ever again. When he gets there, he's reunited with Cringer. Cringer the cat is amazing. I love him. I hope we see him throughout. Not only does he reunite with Cringer, we get Man-at-War, who is defending the sorceress. Adam uses the sword that has been reforged to call back the magic with the power of Grayskull, and all the power is being returned except Skeletor reemerges from Evil-Lyn's staff. He's been hiding in there all along, stabs Adam, and claims the power sword for himself. And big spoiler, he becomes the master of the universe. Skeletor finally wins, at least in the first 5 episodes. We'll see what's coming up. Now, here are some things that I see. We got some central themes in the first 5. Female empowerment, with Teela branching away from her father Duncan, the original Man-at-Arms, and Evil-Lyn talking about how she surrendered her power to support Skeletor rather than becoming a true master of the universe. A lot of depth there. We also have parent issues. We see from Duncan with Teela rejecting him and her anger. We also see that Roboto feeling that Duncan is his true father and that he and Teela are siblings. We see the king being disappointed in Adam because he doesn't know about He-Man. And we also see multiple attempts to let Teela know her true lineage. That's gonna play out. I think he's doing a long play there. We also see the reluctant hero thing going on. Teela comes back to become a hero again. She rejected the hero life. By the end of episode 5, she's back in. Teela is a hero. Kind of cool. Now, what are my thoughts? Here's what I would describe it. It was like comfort food, right? I grew up with these characters. I grew up with this idea, and it felt like being home. They stuck with some of the overarching character designs, but modernized them a little bit. Instead of a one-dimensional face that we saw on Adam and He-Man in the past, we now see some structure and some muscle tone and some other things that kind of move us a little bit, but still stick with the characters I knew and loved. Felt very much like being home for me. Very comfortable. It was aimed at me, I felt. What does that mean for the rest of you? Everybody in the 40 plus grew up in the 80s cartoon world. You're gonna love it, I feel. Anybody who didn't grow up with that show and these characters may find themselves not as thrilled as I was. You had to know the characters. You had to kind of get the Easter eggs, we'll say, that are being hidden throughout. For anybody else, it may not be exciting to see Whiplash all of a sudden show up, or Beastman show up with his crush on Evil-Lyn that he's always going to protect her. These things mattered to me. They may not matter to you. Will the story really keep you interested? I'm not sure, but we're going to see a different direction here with the next drop. Skeletor has never been the master of the universe. We have no Adam / He-Man now in the world. So what are we going to see take on Skeletor as a master of the universe? This will create some interesting stuff. I gotta give a huge shout out to the cast here, right? We have amazing actors in this show. We have none other than our man, Mark Hamill, the original Jedi, for us, our stormtrooper that was a little too short.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
Showing up as Skeletor. Amazing. We got Kevin Conroy, our animated Batman extraordinaire. We've got Melissa Joan Hart. If you don't know, you should. Michelle Gellar. Hello, Buffy. We've got Alicia Silverstone, our Batgirl. We have Justin Long. Hey, Brandon from Galaxy Quest. Liam Cunningham, my man Stavros from Game of Thrones. Lena Headey, none other than our bad bitch Cersei from Game of Thrones as Evil-Lyn. And Alan Oppenheimer as Mossman. Alan was the original voice actor for Skeletor, Merman, Man-at-Arms, Cringer / Battlecat. He's a legend. So, with this level of talent that Kevin Smith had to work with, I am hopeful that he will take this in an amazing direction, but he better do it fast to hook in new viewers. So I am interested in hearing what you think. Put a comment down in the YouTube comment section. Go to our Facebook, go to our Instagram. Tell me I'm right, tell me I'm wrong. I don't care, I want to hear from you. Until next time, let me know your thoughts.